Gotcha. Yep, this video is for new advisors, all about pictures and how you're going to make these guys look good in the yearbook. It's about high quality pictures and making sure you're keeping track of those pictures. That's what this video is about. My name is Matt Bourgeois from the Bayou, and that's what we're talking about today. Let's go. So today we're talking about photos, and there's lots of different ways to get your photos, but the most important thing is that your photos are large JPEGs. And not to get too confusing on the matter, but just because it looks good on your phone or a computer screen does not mean that it's big enough for the yearbook. So the two places to start is what you're taking your photo with. So if you're taking your photo with this thing right here, this camera, you need to make sure that it is on large JPEG. Just because it's a nice looking camera doesn't mean that you're not taking small pictures. So you got to turn it on and you got to go to your menu. And what I'm going to do here is, so you can see it pretty good here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, so I clicked on the menu button and it brings me up here to image quality. Now you might have to look for it. Every camera is a little different, but they all have image quality or image size, okay? When you select the image size, you want to make it large. It's not too complicated, really. It's L, M, and S. All right, so large, medium, small. Just want to make sure that you're set on large JPEG, okay? You want a large picture. Makes sense. Larger the picture, the better it comes out. All right, so check this out. On your phone, you want to do the same thing. Now, everybody's got a little different phone, and everybody's phone's got different stuff on it, but just quick, basic. I'm on an iPhone. I go to general. I go to my camera. Okay, you're in general settings. You click on your camera, and in your camera settings, you have a few options, okay? And the biggest one for at least common modern iPhones is you click on format, all right? When you click on format, you have two options. You have most compatible and you have high efficiency, okay? High efficiency, what you want is most compatible, basically, all right? Doesn't mean that high efficiency won't work, but it basically means that they're taking slightly smaller photos, and it might be a different format, and then once you convert it to JPEG, it won't be as nice as it could be if you just took it in a nicer format. Now, some of the Android phones will have you a little more specific. You might be able to do like you did on your camera, which you had the option of using small, medium, large. It's not too complicated. We want the largest photo possible because that'll give us the best looking photo in print. All right. And for those of you who are new advisors, it's important just to point out one of the basic things about photos is that when you're downloading off the internet, those images that you download off the internet, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all those things, they need little tiny photos. So even though you have a big old photo on your phone, when you put it up on those websites, they downgrade the size of that photo. It takes away pixels. So by the time you right click and hit copy photo or save as image off of a website, you've already copied it and it's already itty bitty. If you screenshot any picture, you're already downsizing the size of the photo. So things like that happen all the time. And then by the time you get it as the advisor, you're like, why is this picture so low? Well, those are some of the biggest reasons. So you want to get the photo, take the large image, okay, and you want to get it off of these devices as close as you can. If you can airdrop it, airdrop. If you can plug it in, get those images off, because just emailing and text messaging photos can often, it's up to the cell phone carrier and the settings on your phone. Your phone's ever asked you, do you want to send the original file or do you want to send a small file? We want the original. We want the big file. We don't want a small file. That's very important when it comes to yearbooks. Now I'm going to show you a few quick things about photos on my computer. And that's going to give us a few other things to talk about. Now, we already did another video called Photobombed, where we talk about photo organization and how to, all the different ways you can save your photos and stuff like that. In this one, I'm just talking about some basic stuff about photos. Okay. Now, you're either going to be an InDesign user or you're going to be on an online program. And I'm going to show you both how you can check the photos as they come in. Okay. First line of defense when it comes to photos is just looking at the photo's size. So I'm going to come here to this baseball photo, and every program you're looking at, I'm using Bridge here, okay? But you could do the same thing with Finder, and you select on a photo in Finder, and I'm going to hit Command-I, and it'll show it to me. Obviously, if I had this in maybe like a list view or something like that, I'd be able to see the size somewhere. Make this a little bigger. Whoop. Whoop. Sorry, this is a brand new computer, so I have to add the size in here. There you go. All right, 177 KB for this particular photo. And I'm going to move this size over here. So, whether you're on a Mac or an Apple, you can see the size of a particular photo. So I'm selecting these photos, this photo down here, 852 KB. So this is a first line of defense, okay? Your most basic, smallest, original, first generation smartphones were taking megabyte sized photos. So just keep that in mind. So when you see a photo like this, 852 KB, you know it's been downsized to some degree, or it was taken as a medium or small JPEG, all right? So just kind of keep some of that in mind. Doesn't mean it's a terrible photo, but once you get to the 100 KBs and 200 KBs, I mean, these are small photos. This photo would probably look great on a little spread, tiny photo. You're not going to make this the size of the entire page. It looks like a cool photo that this would be perfect for a big giant photo spread, but you can tell from just looking at, well, this one might be okay. You'll have to get it in InDesign to see, and I'll actually show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to show you quick in InDesign. Now, if you're not an InDesign user, don't worry, because some of what I'm going to tell you here is going to be applicable to any program really, and I'll show you how to do it on the very cool Friesens Online right after this. Oh, so I dropped it way back in the background, which is not what I wanted to do. So I'm going to grab it again over here, and I'm going to just try to drop it right there. There we go. Got it in my hand here. All right. I'm going to just draw me a little square here. Now, I drew it, and I'm looking here on my links panel, and I see that it is 632 DPI, which is perfect. Awesome photo. So I'll crop this photo and make it look the way that I want it to look in order to best look at my yearbook. But that's what you want, and you want pictures over 300. Now, if you're wondering how I did this here, in my panel options, I add this little thing. It's my little secret sauce, effective PPI. Now, actual PPI is right above it. Don't click that. That sounds super important. It's just not, okay? So effective PPI is what you need right there, effective PPI. That tells me when this thing goes to actual print, all right? And I'm printing my yearbook, what's the effective PPI of this particular photo? And that's an important piece of information for you to have. So excited to see that there. So I add that there so you can always see what your PPI is right there in the links panel. Obviously, if it drops below 300, you're going to get a warning here in InDesign. You'll see it there. The little red light at the bottom will pop up, and you'll be able to mess with it. All right, so those photos. Also, too, so that's the first step. And just to demonstrate the point so that you know that I'm just not making this stuff up, right here, NOLA.com photo credit, right? So obviously this came from a website. Did they send this in? They may have, but these are generated for web view. They are super small. Look at that, 97 KB, 172 KB. These might be professional photos, but they will look garbage in your yearbook. So this is your first line of defense, because you would never know by getting this in your email that this is a terrible photo unless you looked at the size. So that's a good thing to start off with, because you can be your first line of defense instead of waiting till like you're about to print the yearbook or the end of the year before realizing all these photos are bad, or you uploaded these photos in your online program, and when you go to place it, it's like a itty bitty postage stamp. Well, you want to find out ahead of time, like, whoa, this photo is not good. We'll have to ask them to resend us some new photos and not use such small photos because it's unnecessary. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to pop up here to my window here, and let me just reconnect here with this with my Friesens ID. That's my Friesens email. Hit me up sometime if you have any questions. All right, so when I hop up in here, I'm going to go to my Build It tab. For those of you who are InDesign users, you're probably familiar with some of this. But I'm just showing you this. This is just another I'm not going through this in detail. We have other videos that'll take you into depth on how to use the library and all that. But just right when you upload your pictures into Friesen's online program, you'll see it right there at 300 DPI. These are the sizes. So you got to think about it, right? Your yearbook is probably 9x12 or 8.5x11, right? Those are two standard sizes. So anytime you see 8 inches by 12 inches, you're good. You're in the good zone right there, okay? 10 inches, 12 inches wide, those are good zone, okay? 13 inches, okay? You're good to go. Here's a little smaller photo, 4x5, but that's still good. 4 inches by 5 inches, that'll look fine in the yearbook, you know, somewhere small. So this is a good line of defense, okay? I promise you this photo here is probably, you know, like, I don't know, 400 KB or 800 KB, and these photos here are probably 1 or 2 MB, right? Megabytes. So that's just what I want to point out, and this is kind of just like basic photo stuff, but to keep in mind that the size of the photo will be correlated with the number of pixels 90% of the time, unless it's really like edited in Photoshop or something like that. But as a general rule, just keep your eye on the size, okay? Because that can really throw you off, and you know, you might not notice for weeks later. You know, you upload these photos and you assign the page, and someone might design it much later down the road. So keep your eye on the size of the photo. Make sure that your students, whatever device they're using, their cell phones, their cameras, all the cameras are set to large JPEGs. Your phones are set to large JPEGs, and you go out there, take the biggest photo you can for your yearbook. All right, well that's it. That's my basic, quick, to the point photos, high resolution. Get your photos in high res. Talk to you later. Bye.